But right now we've got, he knows what he's doing. Jon Cooper, Ourlad's Guide to the NFL Draft. We've heard about all the insight. He's been a part of it, the picks, the moment, etc. And Jon joins us on 365 Sports Round 2 and 3 coming up in a moment. Jon, the quarterback story obviously was massive. 6, including Bo Nix going early. Was when you heard Michael Penix at 8 in Atlanta, considering what they did with Kirk Cousins, what was your reaction?
My blood pressure went up a little bit. But it was a shock. I mean, it really was. I mean, when the shock wore off, you can understand the rationale. I don't know that I would have done that, but the rationale is there. I mean, Cousins is coming off a surgery. He's Achilles. He's 36 years old. Do you want to get yourself into an Aaron Rodgers situation like last year with the Jets, where he went down and all of a sudden there you are. You don't have a quarterback and you got a solid football team. So I think that was their figuring. Having two good quarterbacks or having a rookie to develop, I think is what they wanted to do. I would have thought maybe McCarthy would have been a better pick, but Penix is a player, and he's got some injury issues too. So, as shocking as it was, there is a rationale for it.
Dave, Jon, who was your favorite one? Your favorite
quarterbacks?
Yeah, your favorite pick overall.
Well, Washington taking Jaden Daniels, I think that was a great pick for them. I think he's been our top quarterback, our top player in our draft ever since August. So. We're glad to see that, that happened. We think he's a solid, really good quarterback. And again, you never know for sure until you get him in the building. But we think that's a great pick. Joe Alt is a great offensive tackle. We had him rated very highly, and we think the Chargers got a real good player there. And Rome Odunze going to the Bears. That's a great pick. It's going to really help the Bears, develop their offense, and they're going to be, something to contend with.
From a pure PR and marketing standpoint, hard to imagine Chicago doing any better than they did on night one with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze.
Oh, no, you can't beat that. I was, knowing a lot of Bear fans and people, I was nervous that Odunze was not going to be there, but I think when Atlanta took that quarterback, that kind of cinched it.
When it comes to Jaden Daniels, I know the big concern with him is just kind of reckless when he's running, can take the big hits. How much can you realistically expect once he now gets into Washington and gets settled in? Weight gain, things like that. How do the Commanders approach that with him, and what does that all look like, you think, in this offseason?
Well, they're going to want him to be able to create off platform, but he's also a very good pocket passer. And they're going to develop him in a pro-style offense at the same token. You've got an air raid guy, Cliff Kingsbury, that's running, that's calling the plays. So there's going to be a fit there in terms of what Daniels can do. But Daniels can do more than that. He finds alternate receivers, and he can take off and run when it needs be. And he can run. They want to put a little read option in there in the RPO game, which I think they will. He can do that, and he's going to be effective. And yeah, you worry about him taking a hit with that slender frame. But, I think as he grows, he matures physically. He's probably got some good growth years in terms of bulk that, he's going to be okay. Lamar Jackson, they said the same thing about him. And Lamar has been injured, but it hasn't been because of taking off and running. So I think he'll be okay.
So what did you think of Kansas City sliding up from Buffalo, one of their teams that's been right there in the way, and then Kansas City's always had the best of them for the most part, getting Xavier Worthy for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid?
The rich just keep getting richer, don't they? That was a good move. We kind of thought Worthy might be there when Kansas City picked, but obviously that wasn't the case. They didn't think so they moved up and made that selection. And, Buffalo is still in need of a receiver, too. Buffalo needs picks, too, because, they lost some players with cap casualty and whatnot. So, they're going to have to take somebody, early in this second round, in the receiver, from that receiver core. And there's still some good ones left.
To me, A.D. Mitchell would be a great fit for anybody, but would that be a great fit for someone like Allen who throws the ball so hard and high and he's got that size?
Yeah, I think I think that would be a good pick. There's I'm just offhand. There's a couple of other guys that could go there. Keon Coleman, that might be a little high for him, but a guy I really like is Lad McConkey. He is a really good receiver. He's underrated in my opinion. He's not real big, but he can run. He can do things after the catch. So I could see McConkey being a guy that would fit with Allen as well.
John, who do you think tonight? I mean, with the Eagles having 2 picks in the second round, the Cowboys have 2 picks in the third and 3 picks overall. Who do you think can make the most waves on night 2?
Well, that's hard to say. I think anytime you have picks, the more picks you have, the more opportunities you have to make waves. And the Eagles have multiple picks. The Cowboys, they're going to need to make a couple of moves. They've got a couple of needs that they're going to have to address. I think they need a corner. You need a running back. And and Green Bay has 2 picks in both the second and third round. So Those are some teams that can do some things.
What did you think of the Cowboys getting Tyler Guyton?
Well, he was the last of the tackles, of the really good tackles available. So that was a good move, a really good move. I was surprised in some ways that Green Bay passed him up because, Guyton's got some versatility. I think Baltimore would have looked at him, although Baltimore, when they saw those corners dropping, I could see they had their pick of the litter with the corners that were left. So, that was a good move by Dallas taking Guyton. Solid player. He can plug and play, in my opinion.
John, so let me ask you this. If you're all these other teams, 7 teams have drafted. Here comes Atlanta at number 8. What do you think the other, what would be 31 teams, even those who have already drafted, or teams right behind the 8th pick with Atlanta, when they heard Michael Penix's name, what could you kind of even try to describe some of the reactions in the war rooms?
There was a lot of joy. Because it just meant one more player was going to be available. The fact that 6 quarterbacks went in the top 13, 12, top 12 picks, all those teams down below are thinking, especially the guys that had defensive needs, knowing that it's not a great defensive draft, and some of the best defensive players in this draft are going to be sitting there in the bottom, half of the draft. It was terrific. I think the line on the NFL Network, he says, Jeff Ballard from Indianapolis, he says, if 6 quarterbacks go in the first round, I'll come on your show anytime. So that was a surprise. That was a surprise, and all of the war rooms were very happy because it just added to their mix.
John, thank you. Great stuff. I know it's a busy time for you. Congratulations on getting through round 1. I know this is kind of like a little bit of Christmas for you. Good luck having fun watching it, unfold tonight. We will, too. Yeah,
hey, John, I wonder, how do you watch the draft? Do you have a specific feed? Because I think a lot of the Belichick and Saban influence last night, a lot of people were commenting on. Just curious from your perspective, being so deep into it.
Oh, I watch the NFL Network.
Okay.
And I've got certain people that I talk to, I text with. There's a couple of coaches, NFL coaches I text with, and I'm close with. There's one agent that I text with. There's another scout from another service that we text back and forth with some of the things he's hearing and whatnot. And it's it's a lot of fun. And I've done that for years. With the coaches in particular, there's a lot of dead time for those guys. And so they're looking for things to do. I can tell you one team years and years ago used to do a mock draft contest within their coaching staff. Because, the waiting between picks was so long. So I get in on that a little bit, but for the most part, I'm like everybody else and I watch.
Thank you, John. You do a great job with it. Thank you, Jon Cooper, Ourlad's guide to the NFL draft with us on 365 Sports. Coming up around the corner.